qualifying fueled by Quick Trip.
And Justin, I think this start, as we just got a little peek of it there, the start corner, the left-hand 180 is a very, very tight turn. So I think when we talk about this Olympic-style format, Triple Crowns, and we talk about, you know, word of the day, intensity, consistency is going to be a huge part of winning this. You could see a guy potentially winning it, having not even won a race, and I think a big part of that is going to be getting out of the gate.
Yeah, and it's so hard, right? The intensity and consistency. That is going to be the name of the game. But how do you blend the two? Like, it's so difficult, right, to push through these rhythm lanes and be consistent, but also bring that intensity as well.
I think really, Justin, it's just about being decisive with your moves, right? And looking ahead, adapting to the track. But more than anything, and we talk about a guy like Ken Roxon, our points leader, he is so good on the opening laps of a race. And I think that is going to be very key. Somebody like Eli Tomac, Jet, maybe sometimes it takes them a little bit to get going up to the speed. The guy that can show up out of the gate and put down a couple sprint laps right away is going to be in a really good position, specifically here with the Triple Crowns.
Yeah, we talk about strategy a lot in these qualifying sessions, right? You see Jet Lawrence just kind of cruising around, checking the track out. Some other guys will go out firing. They'll take off first and start throwing down laps right away. Jet's more methodical. He likes to take his time, kind of ease into it, and then late in these sessions, he typically throws down. I mean, it's about almost on cue every weekend. 30 seconds to go, we go to Jet Lawrence, and a lot of times he'll go to the top. But Cooper Webb right here on screen, it's a big weekend for Cooper. He struggled here in this venue. He's never gotten on the podium here in Glendale, but Triple Crowns, Adam, he's normally pretty solid.
Yeah, he is. He's very consistent. He's a methodical rider, and I think one of the reasons why Cooper has struggled here in Glendale, as you're just taking a look at that turn, right? A lot of what we were talking about earlier was the lack of ruts here at Glendale, and Cooper is known for his ability in the ruts and kind of thinking his way around the racetrack. Just with the way this stadium floor is and the dirt, it requires a little bit more just straight up raw speed. But I have to give it to the number 2. He has made a lot of gains in that sprint speed type area as you see him just clip that triple out right there.
Yeah, unfortunately, there is one guy missing from the field here in 450 Group A. More on that with Haley.
I'm down here in FanFest at the Monster Energy Kawasaki rig, and there are no new updates, no new developments on the number 70 of Jorge Prado. Here's what we know. He did dislocate his shoulder 1 week ago in qualifying at Anaheim 2. He did have surgery. He went home to Spain to do so, and Dan Fahey, team manager, did confirm for me that the surgery was successful. So now he's on the road to recovery. We don't have a timeline of when he's going to return to racing. He's out for the Supercross season, but Jorge says he hopes to be back for the complete pro motocross season. So number 70, it's not behind me. That bike is actually up in the trailer, I was told right now. But unfortunate break for Jorge Prado. We wish him the best in his speedy recovery.
Thank you, Haley. Yeah, such a bummer for Jorge, right? And you're close to that Monster Energy Kawasaki team. Just bummer for everybody involved.
It is, and you know, the plan for Jorge coming over here at his age, I think the plan was just to try to get through Supercross, right, and just gain that experience. We saw some flashes at Anaheim 1. Unfortunately, he's out now, and of course, we wish him the best. We hope to see him back for the Pro Motocross Championship.
Ken Roxon on screen with that shiny red plate. Love to see that. Hasn't won a race yet, but is in the points lead. Just shows how competitive this 450 class is this season.
I think it is a great night for Kenny to get his first win. I think even just watching him yesterday during press, he's just riding. You can tell he's riding with a smile on his face. And when Ken Roxon is having fun, a lot like this guy on our screen, the number 3, when they're having fun, they're very hard to beat.
Yeah, there is no doubt about that. There he goes, quad out. He makes it perfect.
That was so
Eli
cool.
Tomac, first one we've seen do that on screen. We did see Malcolm Stewart do it yesterday in press day. He was the only one that I've seen do it, but wow, that is fast.
And you saw one of the challenges there. He kind of got hung up in the sand. Sometimes it's hard going into the sand section when you're carrying so much speed, especially him having done that quad. You're trying to slow the bike down as you get into the sand, but this looks like a great lap for Eli. See how he gets through these whoops here, Justin. These things are getting pretty slick.
Yeah, you can see how they're really shiny on top. That's where the rear wheel will hit. And you get a lot of wheel spin, right? So third gear, potentially even fourth gear through that.
You know Eli's
section.
You know Eli's feeling it when he's moving the bike around like that. You saw him get over that tabletop.
Let's see what the time is. Sexton on top so far. Let's see if Eli can go to the top. He does.
Yes, he does.
1 minute flat, 0.4.
Close.
Really close at the top. Sexton with a 1 minute flat, 0.4 as well. Here looks like Kenny's on one going to the left side of that rhythm lane. Triple. And like you mentioned, this track for Kenny, we talked about Juju being a home race, but there's also something to it in venues that you've had a lot of success at. There's nothing like getting on the airplane knowing that you're going to a place that you really like, you really enjoy, and you've had a lot of success at.
Yeah, Justin, you know as well as me, attitude is everything, right? And I know when I was racing, I had specific places that I would go to, and you just feel more comfortable. You feel like it's going to work out for you. I was a part of that race, the 2020 race where Kenny swept that Triple Crown, and I really genuinely think that Ken has a great shot to win tonight. Let's see if we can stick with him here on this lap and see if he can throw one, get him up the board a little bit.
Yeah, a little over halfway in this qualifying one here in Group A.
No quad for Ken yet.
You know he's going to go back, look at it on film, or even get a signal from his mechanic to say, hey, the line through that rhythm lane is 334. And then your stomach kind of drops a little bit, and you say, oh, all right, I got to go for it next lap around.
Looks like Chase may be setting up for a fast one here.
Malcolm went by him right at the end of that lap. Malcolm put down a 101 flat, but back on Ken, AC.
Yeah, and what I like about these two rhythm lanes, before the whoops, after the whoops, there's multiple ways to do it, but they're both pretty similar in speed. So I think that's what makes a good racetrack, right? When there's different options that are pretty close in speed, makes for some good passing and good racing. Let's see what the 94 has early in the day here on Race Day Live.
Launched the single, he does. Let's see what he goes. He's fourth right now. P1.
And how about, as Kenny goes to the top, how about Justin Hill in the P2 position?
1 minute
That's
flat,
incredible.
0.3. Wow. Yeah, I'm sure Ken's excited, right? That red plate, points leader. Of course, he wants to get the win, but as we say that, Jet Lawrence breaks that 1 minute mark, and he said, nah, guys, I'm going to go a second faster than you. 59.3 for the number one. That's fast.
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming, and Chase betters his time there, 1 minute, 0.2. Just going back to Justin Hill, we saw him with the 8th place finish at Anaheim 1. We had him on Race Day Live at San Diego, and you just get this sense that he is working harder than he ever has, and he really wants to leave it all out there. It's just cool to see him mixing it up. You know, he was kind of a 10 to 15 guy last year, and I think he knows he's more talented than that. He knows he can get up there, and it's cool to see him showing it. Yeah, we were just showing Freddie Noren there for a minute. I want to touch on that because top 18 out of qualifying go directly to the races here tonight. Freddie Noren right now sitting in 21st. Now, it's very important, obviously, to be in the top 18, but also for a guy like Chase Sexton, Adam, it's your gate pick for that first race. So it's ever more important here today in Glendale to qualify as high up as you possibly can. Yeah, it really is important. The top 18, Justin, when I did these races, it's just a little extra stressful. I mean, if you're looking at the kind of the bubble right now, top 18, you have guys like Aaron Plessinger in 16th, Kyle Chisholm, Benny Bloss, Joey Savacci down there. Those are very, very fast riders. And one of these guys is going to have to go to the LCQ, unfortunately. I mean, Aaron Plessinger, he won a race last year. He had the red plate for a few races. He's 17th right now, the 102.8. So like we see a rider down right there as we got Justin Cooper on screen. Justin Cooper just went to 8th place right there. And solid race last week. Look, Justin's heat race wasn't that great. Went back to the truck, figured some things out. Wednesday, last chance qualifier. Hole shots, the main event from the very outside, and gets his best finish of the year. Got 6th. And we were talking about just how impressive it is to turn it around like that. He did not ride well in his heat race, had to go to the LCQ, lines up in the main, short start straight, all the way outside, pulls the start, has a season best 6th place finish. So I think he just needs to get the ball rolling a little bit. We know he has the pace. Just really needs to figure out how to get those whoops dialed. That was his Achilles heel last week, so we'll see what he can do today. Yeah, there's no doubt, and I did talk to Rich Simmons over there. He's the team manager over at
Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing team, and they reviewed some footage, and basically it was just that. It was the whoops. Everywhere else, he was as fast as anybody.
Yeah, he was, and he's always had that raw pace. Even in practice, when I was racing with him on 250s, he can always throw down a time, and I think he's somebody that's just sliding under the radar a little bit right now, but I could definitely see him getting on the podium if he cleans a few things up.
Eli Tomac right now 6th overall with a 1 minute flat .4, and it is so tight at the top. Wow. From first to second, there's a little bit of a gap, but then from second all the way down to 7th is just so tight. You see Tomac right now, looks like he got the checkered flag. Looked like he was setting one up though, not happy with that 6th place, wanted to try and get on the board out there. There's a board in the middle of the track that shows the top 5. And Adam, I know if you're anything like me, if I would throw down a good lap, I would always look over at that. And if I wasn't on that board, it would just deflate you, huh?
Absolutely. Just want to mention Cooper Webb. He hears the talk. He goes to P2. That might be one of his, or P3 now that Chase gets it in the 59s there. Pretty close, too.
Wow, that's awesome for Cooper Webb. And he's typically not a great qualifier, right? He said,